What's poppin', Santana? What's up with Mac and Star, Rodney, XO, Tempest, Shadow, Kodak, Love Don't Speak. I say that shit right. What's cracking? What's cracking? What's cracking, everybody? Let's see if these notifications is working. Let's see if these notifications is working. Are y'all in here or is y'all not? Y'all ready for tonight's video? Go ahead, smash that like button on y'all way in. Y'all know we're gonna get this thing lit. You know what I'm saying? Got to keep y'all on y'all toes. Look, we back. We back for another one. Where everybody watching from? We got Miami in the house. We got VA in the house. We got Houston in the house. We got Jacksonville. We got, man, Chicago. We got New York in the house. We got Las Vegas, Massachusetts, Zimbabwe. My people in Zimbabwe, shout out to y'all, man. You already know what to do on y'all way in. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead and put those flame emojis and those 9s and those 6s in the chat if y'all ready to turn this thing up. Y'all ready to get it started. Look, we already got 112 likes. I appreciate y'all. That's love right there. That shit free as hell too. By the way, some people just think it's just hard. Like, look, man, it's not gonna make you breathe heavy. None of that. Just appreciate it. Goes a long way. All right, look, let's get this thing started. Start from when we left off last time. My boy all the way watching from South Carolina. I appreciate you. Run that back, Turbo. Appreciate you. My dog, he be in here. Some of the copyrights. Cut the music. Cut the music. Look at that eyeball right there. Coming to a theater near you. Ain't that crazy though? I appreciate the 5. I can't see the name right now. Yeah, this is the copyright I gotta look out for. I ain't gonna lie, these videos right here be kind of questionable sometimes. It's just interesting. I don't think it'd be that blatant. Not yet.
Zombie apocalypse started in China. Now, a video was released a couple of days ago of what seemed like a man getting up after being presumed dead. And this apparently came from a hospital/morgue somewhere inside of China. Now, this panic of a zombie apocalypse starting has come from not only this video, but also because of a couple of reports going around the internet explaining that if a zombie apocalypse was to begin, then China could be the epicenter of it. Now, this grainy black and white video has been viewed over 3.7 million times, and has basically made the internet do what the internet does best. Prepare for a zombie apocalypse. But the big question is this real? Are these claims real? Probably not. But then again, the 2020s have been a bit fucking crazy, so who knows? Now, this video was all that apparently came out, but if anything else is to happen, I will let you know. Now, quickly send this to someone who you would want in your zombie apocalypse group, and let me know how long you think you'd survive. Elon!
If they the fast zombies, look, we all dead.
Scientists can legally put deadly chemicals into food. Please do not eat any of these foods. They all contain bioengineered genetic ingredients. Please read every label.
Not all of them. Not all of them, though. You know what I'm saying? That's what some people saying right now. Yeah, all the cakes.
From the first account, this is high-ranking priest of the Aztec army rounding up invaders. Now look at the priest and look at the invader. And look at the priest and look at these invaders. Me, you motherfuckers in the comments. Me, motherfuckers telling us we're not indigenous.
Exactly.
Me, and the motherfuckers that claiming they're Native American.
Could never.
It's very clear.
Yeah, y'all see what that she put on sunscreen. Sunscreen. This is sunscreen. And they putting it under a certain light to show them what it actually looks like. Ain't that shit wild? Under UV light. Know what you putting on yourself. It's artificial. That's what they say this is, right? They say it's artificial. Why you think they have those meetings about genetics and certain people are not included? The shit that they're using. I'm just saying.
Listen to me. If they were lost at sea, listen, I want you to use your own intellect. If they were lost at sea, why would they go all the way to Africa and get millions of slaves and bring them all the way back here, where they could have enslaved the natives that were here? You know why? Because they did enslave the natives that were here. The Mayans and the Aztecs, that's us, bro. Don't nobody know where the fuck they went. Don't nobody know where they went. We the Aztecs. We the Mayans. We had pyramids over here called mounds. We got pyramids in Egypt, bro. The same likeness. We know that niggas, that's why they put Egyptians as white people, bro. Because they don't want you to wake up to it, bro. They beat you to dust in slavery because they don't want you to realize the truth. You really Aztec and a Mayan, bro. Christopher Columbus's diary, he said he seen black people over here picking cotton, bro. His second voyage. Read his diary. He will tell you.
Check out this Neanderthal man dressed in modern-day clothes. African people share close to 0% of their DNA with Neanderthals, but people from European and Asian populations share around 1 to 4% of their DNA with these early humans.
If you believe in the Bible, answer these questions. Now, only one answers. I don't need no you lost or you dumb or none of that shit. Just answer my questions, please. And all these answers should match because y'all all believe the same book. So in the Bible, it says Adam and Eve was the first people on this earth, right? But then how did all other races evolve? If two Caucasian people or whatever race they was, how could they possibly make other races? And better yet, wouldn't we all be related? Another question, Noah's Ark.
My guy, honestly, it kind of make me sad how nobody in the comments can answer this man's questions, but I can. Alright, so first what you messed up at is when you brought up Adam and Eve and saying how two Caucasians can make other races. Let's start off by saying Adam and Eve was not white, they was not Caucasian. But two black people can make other races, which is called the Eve gene. You can just go read up on that yourself. Not to mention the oldest bone found in the world is from a black woman. Now let's get to the book of Enoch, which was taken out of the Bible. The book of Enoch was taken out of the Bible because it was rejected by the Jews, because it contained prophecies pertaining to Christ. Now let's get into how other races was really made while using the Bible. Scientists honestly proved that the Bible was real without even knowing it, honestly, when they found out about the Neanderthal DNA. I do not know if y'all know about the fallen angels. Everybody in this world was black to start off with. The fallen angels was sent down here to watch over the people, but instead they started having sexual intercourse with the people. With the fallen angels having sexual intercourse with the people and disobeying God, they had kids and created giants.
Appreciate you, bro. I do the same thing.
Which then giants started to have kids, which created Nephilims. And when them Nephilims began to have kids, they created Neanderthals, which scientists proved that Neanderthals did exist, which then the Neanderthals began to have kids. And not only that, where those people was living, there was a lot of sun. The Neanderthals couldn't take the heat, so they hibernated to the Caucasus Mountains, which then the Neanderthals began to have kids, which began to create this. Caucasians were made, not born. It's a mutation. Also, and since you talked about the bloodline, God speaks about how after the third or fourth generation, you lose a certain bloodline. Kind of like if a black person has a kid with a white person. That kid is 50% black, 50% white. Then say that kid goes back to a black person. Now that kid is going to be 75% black, 25% white. Then after that kid goes back to a black person, that kid is still going to have an itsy bitsy piece of white DNA. But after that kid goes back to a black person, the white has disappeared and is soon to go back to its natural race. And is soon to go back to its natural race. So sooner or later, that whole bloodline will be wiped out. So think about where that bloodline will be at after thousands of years has passed. You had a lot of questions, so now I gotta make a part 2.
This is one of the greatest experiments I've ever done. After isolating DNA from our pet albino squirrel, we took it to the lab alongside DNA from our pet electric eel. And we couldn't forget taking DNA from baby ducks so that we could get their yellow color. We took all of this back to our home laboratory, and after 5 months, we finally made a Pikachu. This is a world...
I might have to cut that volume, but he's doing splicing, bro. He created a Pikachu. It does have a little bit of electricity, but not something overwhelming. And I tell you about genetics, it's a thing that a lot of people don't focus on and pay attention to. But anything is endless possibilities.
Creating human hybrids by combining animal and human DNA.
Supposed to have 13 months of 28 days, with one day, the day of resurrection, Easter, as a neutral day. That's our 365 days. We've actually got 13 constellations, not 12. This same calendar is very close to the Mayan calendar, but it's also very close to several ancient Sanskrit calendars. What does sept mean? 7. I thought that was the 9th month. What does oct mean? What does nov mean? What does dec mean? It's supposed to be the 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th month. Jan is 11. Feb is 12. March is 13. April is our first month. Babies are born in the spring, the 1st of April, Easter. This is the start of our new year. It's the start of spring, when the flowers start coming up, the grass starts coming up, the trees start leafing out, the babies are born. That's the first day. Our neutral day, day 1, the day we rest and celebrate the resurrection, the new beginning.
Look, be grateful, man, for the creation that you are, y'all. One thing that we can all admit, one thing we can admit to, and we can stand with people. Look, man, we all different people from different walks of life on here. We all look different and everything like that. But look, we can agree that our creator set us up with some good shit. You know what I'm saying? We got some good meat suits. I appreciate this shit because every time I see something that's depicted of something like extraterrestrial, outside of ourselves, I'd be like, wow. I imagine though if they look at us and be like, damn, them motherfuckers ugly. Them motherfuckers is ugly. But you know, like I just wonder sometimes, like how they look at us. Are they jealous? Do they know that they smacked? Or do they look at us like we would look at them like, ooh, I would never. I don't know.
Gray alien footage caught on tape. In 1987, a American officer received the following footage from a secret military base located in the United States. What do you think?
I think this is fake. I think it's fake. I think this is fake. Be 100% with you. That big ass head. I would never come outside like that. Tyler was the title's right there. Alienoid. I was sent this and somebody wanted me. I'm seeing what I'm trying to see what I'm getting from it. So I do be listening to y'all. That's why this is in here. It's transforming them. So basically, their race is going in trying to take over the humans' bodies. We done had many movies like this, like the Body Snatchers, all of that, right? The Faculty. What are you doing here? Look at that. Did it go backwards? Yeah, my shit went backwards. I don't know how
Whatever
we
it
got
was
there.
that they needed.
Today I'm gonna give y'all a crazy trip experience in regards to what I seen concerning the conclusion of this system and how we get our powers, okay? I know you probably heard rumors of what's gonna happen in reference to us receiving, powers like clairvoyance, telekinesis, flight. All of that's true. I seen it all. I seen it all unfold. You could say it's pseudo, you could say I'm lying. If you understand the cosmic event that's gonna take place, then you will know that it's all true, okay? X-Men, Avengers, Dragon Ball, all that's made after us, okay? That's the reason why they came out with coronavirus, okay? Corona stands for crown. That's the representation that I'm trying to prevent ascension to the crown chakra, okay? The reason why they came out with the vaccine, nanotechnology, nanoparticles to alter the DNA, okay? This was all premeditated. They know that when Sirius and the Nibiru come into play, it's going to be a cosmic event that's going to affect and shift anyone that has 9 ether, okay? This isn't hate hate speech or anything. This is all facts. I love everyone. That's okay. So, you know, this isn't hate speech or anything. Anyone that has carbon, okay, and everyone has carbon, okay, but everyone doesn't have neuromelanin, however, okay. This particular trip, I seen us access our true divinity, okay. We had the ability of telepathically communicating. We didn't have to speak verbally. I seen God and goddesses levitating, okay. We was levitating, and we would get into these complex geometric patterns. We remember all our ancient Anunnaki science. We was mathematicians and scientists. All the information from every past life came back to us, okay? Now, all of us exist on multiple incarnations, okay? It's like thousands of versions of all of us. Imagine all those different versions of yourself all joining to be one and combining that information, all that knowledge. That's what's going to happen. That's what's going to take place. When we finally wake up, it's going to hit you like a snap of a finger. You're going to be like, oh, you're going to remember everything that the oppressors did. And when you remember, you're going to have the power to do something about it. That's what's going to happen. And that's what they're trying to avoid. They know in particular that anyone that's Nubian or Taino Indian is going to be particularly affected by this. Okay, they know that. They're aware of it. And again, all of this whole COVID, this whole coronavirus, the whole vaccine, all that was predicated on us. All that was predicated on stopping us. Seen it with my own eyes. I seen it. And I seen what they harbor. And I seen they had a giant reptilian encased in this big glass thing. It was, and I only seen the bottom of the reptilian, like the foot, and the foot was about the size of a building. Okay, so they have some crazy stuff that they preparing for us, and the reason why they have to prepare these colossal entities is because we're gonna be astronomically powerful. It's gonna be insane. And the elites, not the elites, pardon me, the deletes. We gotta stop calling them elites, because words have power. They deletes. They knew about all this. They know about our ascension process, and they know what's gonna happen with us.
You want to know what's crazy? Have you ever seen that movie, The One, with Jet Li? Y'all seen it with Jet Li when he was trying to go and unalive his other selves in other dimensions so he could become the one and more powerful than anybody walking? So just think about that. Just think about it in that mindset. When you're talking about all your different cells coming together and how powerful you really would be, they put it in plain sight and shit like that. You know, it is what it is, though. Let's keep going.
Now, I don't know about you, but I don't remember learning about Auguste Piggard in history class.
This guy was attaching metal steel balls to hydrogen balloons and seeing how high he could go in the sky. Literally. Super odd. He seemed to be a big influence on science and our history, but again, we don't really hear about him much. Maybe it's because he's a flat earther. As the first man to reach the stratosphere, he said, "It seemed a flat disc with an upturned edge." Obviously, that quote right there should tell you that's why you're not hearing about him anymore. This guy was a flat earther. Anybody that's a flat earther is not allowed to be in the public eye. But you know what they do in the public eye? Tell us the truth. This is an artist rendition of what Auguste Piggard was doing when he went into the stratosphere, towards the firmament. And what I'm about to show you is a Hennessy commercial that was produced and posted for all of the public to see. This is called Revelation of Method. This is them showing you the truth to your face and then nobody saying anything to NASA and having any problem with it. And just to get your mind in the right frame of reference here, before I play this clip of this commercial showing everybody the truth, this is what biblical cosmology looks like. There's a firmament here holding waters above, hence why the sky might be blue. And here's a bunch of our other ancestors' drawings of what they thought the shape of the earth was. You'll see it happens over and over, the shape of the dome. But after you see this clip, let me know in the comments if you think that they're showing us the truth and everybody's just not realizing it. And if you want to know more of my thoughts, check out my link tree in my bio. I've got a podcast where I talk for 2 hours about things that I can't talk about here, but enjoy this commercial.
A commercial.
like we before mentioned,
Somebody said they can't stand that dude. He's funny as hell. Somebody said they can't stand that dude. He's funny as hell. What, he be bothering you because he's saying it's flat? I seen somebody in the comments was like, so why is the moon flat? How you know? You said how is it? You said it's round, right? All right. So when we look at it, I'm not saying it is or it's not, but I'm gonna tell you this: what I see when I look up at it, you see the same side of it. So if we're spinning around in the Earth, you know, we on an axle and we're going through space at a certain speed, why are we only seeing one side of the moon? And why it be doing weird shit? It's been doing a lot of weird shit lately. I ain't gonna lie to you. It's been coming up big like it look like the sun and shit. It don't be in the same spot. When we see the sun out, why, if it's supposed to be the sun is shining on the moon, right, to highlight it in the nighttime, why isn't it a big blue streak from the sun or some type of haze shooting, like showing on the damn moon? Like, I got a lot of questions, nigga. Like, you know, like, why is it not on that angle? Because I know simple math and shit. Like, this particular angle doesn't justify this part of the moon disappearing. Y'all get what I'm saying? Like, it should be weird. I'm like, the math just don't be mathing. That's all I'm saying. The math just don't be mathing. If we spinning, why is it the dark side of the moon? I want somebody to explain that to me. I'm open. Like, if you got some factual stuff, I'm the type of guy you can come talk to about it. We can kick it. I ain't gonna get mad at you, because I like dope conversations and, you know, real conversations. Not that tippy toeing around the topic. Now let's get straight to it.
Mineral on the planet. The reason for that is that iron is the only magnetic mineral on the planet.
I ain't got to be right.
It attracts every other mineral to it. So when you ingest iron, you are ingesting every other
It looks so huge. Pause.
And they are 102. This is why when people come to us that are severely anemic, we recommend our iron, our natural vegetation cell food, which is iron fluorine. Not only does it revitalize the cells in the blood, but we should know this, that iron is what conveys oxygen to the brain, and oxygen is what the brain converts and uses.
The Federal Reserve was created by Congress in 1913, and it was entrusted with the power granted originally to the Congress by the U.S. Constitution to coin money and regulate the value thereof. One myth that's out there is that what we're doing is printing money. We're not printing money. So to lend to a bank, we simply use the computer to mark up the size of the account that they have with the Fed. So it's much more akin, although not exactly the same, but it's much more akin to printing money than it is to borrowing.
You've been printing money.
They just enter something on a computer. Oh, you need 20 billion today. Here's 20 billion, but they got that out of thin air. It came out of thin air, it goes to the Treasury then pays the bills.
What we're doing is lowering interest rates by buying Treasury securities. And by lowering interest rates, we hope to stimulate the economy to grow faster. So the trick is to find the appropriate moment when to begin to unwind this policy.
There are only 2 times in the history where we had debt crises in which interest rates hit 0. And in both of those times, the central bank had to print money and go to a different type of monetary policy, which we call quantitative easing, and to buy financial assets. So it's caused asset prices to rise. That process creates a gap between the rich and the poor.
The gap between rich and poor in this country has never been greater. Can you act quickly enough to prevent inflation from getting out of control?
We've been very, very clear that we will not allow inflation to rise above 2% or less.
This argument that prices are going up about 2%, nobody believes it. You know, and the old CPI says prices are going up at 9%, so they believe this. If people on fixed incomes, they're really hurting. The middle class is really hurting because their inflation rate is very much higher than the government tries to tell them.
In the panic of 08, the Fed put up $3.3 trillion. And just this past week, the Fed revealed who got that emergency help. It turns out there were 21,000 transactions to financial firms including Citigroup, Morgan Stanley, and Goldman Sachs.
We are leaving the era of a free market capitalist system in America. We're entering neo-feudalism. So there'll be a few private equity funds, a few hedge funds, and a few mega corporations will own 95% of all the equity, and everyone else will be essentially serfs.
You have what degree of confidence in your ability to control this?
100%.
The Federal Reserve, set up by banking
100%.
architect Paul Warburg, is a European-style central bank, complete with all the inherent problems of the old world. Banking principles diametrically opposed by the founders. Alien concepts, such as backing money by debt instead of gold, lending out more money than you have in the vault, printing up money so banks can stimulate the very economy they just crashed. If the public better understood how fiat money can be abused by Congress, it would impeach almost every member and abolish the Federal Reserve Central Bank, as it has done twice in the nation's history.
History shows that one of the best things you can do to create a strong, stable economy is to have a strong central bank which is independent of political pressures.
Als we het hebben over die piramide, want we hadden het dus net over de structuur van de Bank of International Settlements in Basel. Dan heb je het over de IMF en de Wereldbank. Daaronder heb je het over al die centrale banken. Dat is ook de Federal Reserve in
Look, all right. Hold on, let me put it right here. If you notice, it's been a lot of speak about what's going to happen with our economy. That's why I think this is very important to have, because people, you know, you're going to have to prepare yourself, protect yourself, and do what's best for you and yours. Because other countries are hip and they're understanding, like, why isn't this money backed by gold and we hold gold and y'all don't, type shit. So it's going to be a lot of things that's going to be shifting, man. Just keep your eyes open.
For the ages, forever.
Interdependent world order might be built.
A framework for global governance.
Global governance and global agreements.
There's a need for a new world order.
World order, financial world order.
Maintaining world domination is based on an intellectually and financially bankrupt idea that generates dependency, war, loss of civil liberties, inflation, and debt, all of which contribute to our economic crisis.
The ultimate goal
is control. So that's why you see a lot of people out here, you know, dependent. Do you understand the mindset when you try to speak about somebody, you try to talk to somebody and inform them what they're capable of and how they can get out of the rut, like how destroyed a lot of people are mentally because they feel like what you were taught coming up is actually your reality, and that's the way that your life is supposed to be. You go sit in this cubicle and you work on making these other people even more rich than they are. Meantime, you barely making it. You just got enough money to get to work on your last day before you get paid again. You know what I'm saying? I've been there. My paychecks were $333, man, after all was said and done. You know what I'm saying? Like, how can we live off of the stuff like that? You know, how can we live? And a lot of people are dependent and they don't know how to get out of it, but you can do it. I'm telling you.
what these people have in mind is the goal to invest, though. And now you have this Federal Reserve System, which then in 1913 got the right to create money for the government. Now, the government and do what's necessary to take back, to stop these bankers, these elite, this government full of lies, congressmen full of liars.
And you know what's crazy about that too as well? Like if you want to do something like say for when people wanted to buy cryptocurrency and stuff, The banks will look you in your eye and tell you that you can't spend your money on what you want to spend it on. And then think another thing like this, man, about taxes. Taxes make a big difference because, look, I say it like this. When I was in the military, when we shopped on base, as far as food and everything, it was tax-free. You'll get people that'll pay you $100, man, to come, like to bring them on base just so they can, you know, go shopping. Tax-free on base. That shit's crazy. You know, it makes a big difference. Going to the store, spending hundreds of dollars worth, you know, of groceries on some BS, and you can come on base and you can spend like $50 and you can get everything you was coming in here looking for. Like packs of chicken wings. You know how they're like fucking what? Like $20, $30 now? You go on base, they was like fucking $8 for the same thing. And there was no tax on it. Tax adds up. It means a lot. But they tax everything. Why is everything taxed? And we're the builders of this shit.
Actually referred to him by this name. And it shows that the Mayas and these Mali civilizers, these Mali traders, got along really well. It wasn't a conquest. It wasn't one society taking over another. They both had things to offer each other. The Africans had to offer metallurgy and gold, and the Mayas had to offer corn. So there's a wonderful example.
Hold on. Before we get in there, somebody said, Kidai said, what made you leave the military? It was time for me to move on to something else. Like, I achieved a lot of things that I wanted to achieve while I was in. It just wasn't for me. It wasn't for me. I wouldn't take it back because it was a building block on, you know, my mindset. I've traveled the world. I've seen things for what it was, behind the scenes on a lot of shit. And I know the way that things work. And I didn't want to be in that position anymore where I felt less than other people, like standing on the side of the red carpet, waiting on distinguished visitors like John Kerry and all them to get on the planes, and I'm standing next to them, standing at attention and stuff. Other people live to be servants, and, you know, just not me. I never had that mindset. I don't like feeling like when those people is walking on the red carpet and getting onto planes. I'm in the mindset of like, yo, I can do that shit too, or like, who are they? You know, like, because I think highly of myself, and that's my confidence. So I couldn't no longer put myself in those situations where I was putting somebody else over me as a priority, you know? I just could no longer do that to myself, if that made sense. So I had to get out and do my own thing, and I just felt like my calling was something a lot different for me to get out here in the world and do something different. Because if y'all don't know, I've been vlogging and stuff since 2008. I got videos and I got vlogs when I was in Japan, like 19 years old, living in Japan. I got vlogs, y'all. I never uploaded. I was always doing this, but I felt like I should swing the block and start this.
For ourselves too, two totally radically different cultures, separated by a vast ocean, tremendous cultural and racial differences, and yet they still cooperate and got along real well. So it can happen. But these Mali
Appreciate it.
kings, 900 AD, they set out because they had a legend that there had been blacks going long before them. It was only a legend. It was only a myth. And it was on that myth that they chanced and they went across the sea and it worked out for them. But that myth traced all the way back to an even earlier black contact between Africa and America. And I'm talking about now not Mexico, but what we call now the United States. And this relates to this new fabulous discovery that is coming out.
Appreciate the fire, bro.
About 200 years before Christ, up until right at about the time of Christ, in other words, about 2,000 years ago, there now appears that there were wealthy West African and North African blacks who left Africa on a pilgrimage and came, if you can believe this or not, but there's solid proof for it now, to southern Illinois. Now I'll explain how that happened. In 1982, our time, there was a guy who was going along southern Illinois. He was a cave hunter, and he was I don't know if you're familiar with southern Illinois at all. On the Ohio River, it's just honeycombed with caves. Thousands of caves. They have not all been explored by any means. And he was involved in sport for hunting in caves. It's done all the time. It's rough work. Sometimes these caves are very narrow. He went into, to make a long story short, he went into this cave that no one had ever seen before. And he squeezed through a very narrow entrance, and all of a sudden it turned out into an enormous room. And in this room, he found great sarcophagi, or coffins, coffin lids, made out of stone. The walls are engraved with all kinds of stories, picture stories of men and women in old costumes from the ancient world. And then on the floor, he found stacks of thousands upon thousands of these black rocks that were beautifully engraved with the profiles of people, not Indians, people from other parts of the world. Some of them were white, some of them were Asian, but hundreds are of black people, all in profile. They are made on a type of rock is found really mostly only in southern Illinois in caves. This rock is like a clay.
Illinois.
You pull it out of the ground, and you have like a stylus or a pen, and you can draw on it real fast. You can draw profiles and letters, and then as it dries, it turns into a hard rock. And these rocks are piled up on the floor of this cave.
Oh, we're going to keep going with these. Y'all pay attention.
Hard rock, and these rocks are piled up on the floor of this cave. Now, this man's name is Russell Burroughs. He's not an archaeologist. He's just a spelunker. He's a cave enthusiast. He brought these out over time. They're very difficult to bring out because the cave entrance is so narrow. And he's brought out now almost 10,000 of these magnificent tablets. They're very crude looking as rocks are concerned, but the drawings are beautiful. And they show the profiles of black people, some with scarification, which is West African, mostly with not that, some with specifically West African robes, which are still used today. Some will have a man on one side and a woman on the other. Some will be entirely women. It has each one of these 10,000 have a script associated with these pictures. Nobody's been able to translate the script. Well, since 1982, this place has really been contested a lot, but finally some professional archaeologists are involved, some top archaeologists, and they have verified that it is all authentic, and they have dated it now, and there's going to be a lot of information released in the next few weeks and months about this find. Who are these people portrayed in this cave? Not all black, but a lot of them are black. Some of them will show like a black man with a kind of a sailor's cap, and in the background will show like a ship or a fish. It seems as though they're portraying a captain or a sailor of some kind. It's now understood, it's very involved, complex. You'll see the whole story in our magazine in the next few issues. It appears as though around the time of Christ, just before the coming of Christ, in Rome, there were a great many mystery cults. And these mystery cults, they were called mystery because they were secret, not because it was a mystery. It was secret. And in order to get into this mystery cult, you had to go through different levels of initiation, like the Freemasons, you know, which are not unrelated to it, believe it or not. There were many mystery cults like this, the cult of Osiris, the cult of Isis, and a lot of other cults we don't know about. And then to get into these cults, we do know you had to pay money, you had to be fairly well off, and the final stage of all these mystery cults, you had to go on a long pilgrimage, a long quest. All that cost money, but you would go on this long quest to a sacred place. And at that final sacred place, you go through an initiation of some kind. And when you went through that initiation, you were finally a member of this mystery cult. And these mystery cults were all the same in that they promised the individual who went through this initiation eternal life. You didn't die. You survived after life. And these levels of initiation showed you how your soul made this progression. All that's been lost, although some of it is survived in Christianity, which is basically the same. That you don't die. If you are a good Christian, you go eternal life with Christ. And some of these ideas apparently were shared in common. Now these blacks apparently, they all look well fed. There are no starving people portrayed in this. And they all are with jewels and everything. So they're well-to-do people. That fits. But the archaeologists now think is that these wealthy people, no matter what their race was, but a lot of them were black, would participate in this mystery cult, would cross the sea and come to a cave, this specific cave in southern Illinois.
Now, I say this. With that right there, when you think about it, history has always been what? Manipulated, turned into something that it's not. Because we can all go back into ancient times and we can look at to see what our people were worshiping, what if they were worshiping anything. I'll let y'all determine what y'all find when y'all get to that point. I'm not a person that's gonna be pushing beliefs on people. We do these videos to, you know, look at information and to decipher what's real for you, right? But I will say this. Look at the translations of all these books that y'all read and look who translated them and look who is still oppressing you. It makes a lot of sense when you start to like find out who you really are. But yeah.
Witnessing the bizarre behavior that's going on lately with the animals. It started in China with the sheep.
It's his story,
walking
right?
in circles for 12 days. Keep the number 12 in mind. 12 is representation of government. 12 also is a representation of the 12 tribes of Israel. So these animals are going around. It's other animals. It's fish. It's personal dogs in circles. And I asked the Father, I said, Father, exactly what is going on? And I was listening to a lot of people's explanations, and I wasn't quite satisfied. I just felt that there was more, that there was something else going on. So I went into prayer a few days ago. And then out of nowhere, and this is how the Father responds to me, he'll start dropping it into my spirit days later as I kept thinking about these animals. He showed me the wall of Jericho. And I started reading.
I heard somebody at my door, you know what I'm saying? You got to stay ready.
Around
let me take my ear off.
Understand that Jericho
grab something.
represented what stood between God's people, the Israelites, and the promised land. So as these animals are going around and around in circle, it seems extremely bizarre. Very bizarre, and we're all trying to come up with reasons as to what's going on. I've heard that some said, oh, it's the 5G towers. Well, if it is the 5G towers, then so many more animals would be going bizarre, acting crazy. My own dog would be. So I knew that wasn't it. That wasn't it. So that's when I asked the Father to reveal to me.
Yeah, it's dogs barking outside, and you know I was hearing the front door, like hearing voices and stuff. Like I know somebody just came in, but I still hear the dogs and stuff outside barking. I be listening. The last thing I want to do is get caught slipping. You feel me?
What is going on?
I at least want to have a chance.
So in Joshua 1, as you're reading through it, it talks about the events around the wall of Jericho. Joshua was given instructions to lead the children of Israel in a march around Jericho for 6 days, one time, and then on the 7th day to march around 7 times. They were to remain silent but just walk around for the 6 days and then the last day 7 times. And the procession looked like this. There were armed guards out front, then followed by the 7 priests who carried the 7 trumpets. Now, mind you, these 7 trumpets were made out of ram's horns. Okay? Keep that in mind. Then following behind the 7 priests with the trumpets, there were more priests who were carrying the Ark of the Covenant. Then the rear of them were some more soldiers. Then the people were following behind. They were to walk in silence for 6 days, and the only sound that you would hear was the sound of the trumpets once a day for 6 days. Then on the 7th day.
Yeah, I play these to show y'all what people that have certain beliefs. See, me, I'm a facilitator. Some of y'all, look, y'all gotta get, you know, you gotta tighten up, because you have to be, in order to seek information, you're gonna hear stuff that you don't agree with. Nobody's saying that you have to agree with nothing that anybody is on here even saying. So look, once again, when you're looking at this type of information, that's not what you're, look. You get what I'm saying? It's self-explanatory, you know? You ain't got to voice it, oh, this, and that. You ain't got to, look. You ain't got to be like that. Just listen to the information, and if you don't agree with it, move on. Get to that point where you that mature, you can control yourself, you know?
They walked around 7 times, and then you heard the sound of the trumpets. The Father also said to me, remember when I gave you Revelation 8:6, speaking about the angels getting ready to sound. Revelation 8 was talking about the beginning of the judgments. So listen to this. So Jericho is representing, or basically when you look at the...
Well, we got 3K people in here. Y'all said under, what, 300 likes? Oh, man, y'all got to go ahead and smash that like button. That's crazy. That's crazy. I can't see the likes right now. I ain't even on that screen, but come on now. How many likes we got? Oh, we got 1,000. We got 1,000. Okay. We got to keep smacking that thing. I appreciate it.
Story of Jericho.
She's just right there. It's misinformation. Somebody said it in the chat.
This was the judgment.
I had to check for myself,
of
right?
The Most High.
It's 1,000.
On the wickedness and the idolatry. Now, the bizarre behavior of the children of Israel that they did out of obedience showed faithfulness to the Most High, no matter how crazy the instructions are.
You know what I want to do right now? Look, in the chat. Look, we could leave it at this one. We already know what she's going to talk about, right? All right, so look, let me know in the chat right now. If you know where you from, put it in the chat. I want to see who all watches this channel. Money Strong TV, I appreciate you. Who in this chat right now know where you from? Somebody said Egypt. Look at y'all. This is very interesting. All right, so look, it's a plethora of different responses. And you know the kicker is, a lot of y'all are probably from the same tribes and everything and don't even know it. So that's why people are on here trying to figure out their truths and everything where they're from. So on this channel, this is not about a race thing. This is about information and being, you know, close to the facts as we possibly can. This is just to open our minds and expand and, you know, leave away the bullshit that they taught us in the school systems. Just like people say misinformation, but what did they teach you about evolution, and why don't they teach that anymore? Just because they know that that shit is cap and it was bull. Why don't they teach civic and economics a lot in school and teach you real life situations, how to manage your money? Look, man, this is all a setup. This is all like this, so it can so you can be, you know, lost and out here, you know, saying trying to find answers. And by the time you find them answers, you're gonna be like 50, 60 years old, and you're gonna be useless, and they're gonna be used you up for all of your energy and your time. Right? I know that was a lot. That was a lot, right? Exactly. So it's time for people to start really tapping in. This ain't about hate. If you Asian, figure out where you really come from. Figure out who your ancestors are. If you white, figure out who your ancestors are and your real, you know, your real history. It's not a shame. Just figure that out, you know? And the same for my people. Figure out what tribe you come from, where your people actually come from, and stop taking everybody's word for it. All I want to do is have people go out here searching for information about themselves. And once we figure out ourselves internally, then therefore, once we figure that out, we can effectively appreciate each other here a lot more. Because right now, everybody's just worried about themselves, you know? Like meanwhile, this planet is changing, and because, you know, people don't want to listen. I remember like our teachers warning us about this when we were kids in school. And now y'all see all of this stuff starting to happen right now. All of this chemicals that's in the food. How about, you know, they got plastics in food and they're passing it like it's okay. Niggas was eating yoga mat material from McDonald's for how long? And are they still in business? Some of y'all love yoga so much. The whole time you ain't know them chicken nuggets was the yoga mat material. And you was eating this shit. I wonder what kind of commercials they gonna have in the next 10 years speaking about it. Oh, and this side effect, your kid's gonna have 10 eyes or some shit. Like, all these mutations. Yeah, GMO. Look, GMO. I'm telling you, look, I love pizza, but you know what? I feel y'all on that. After seeing what I seen from the videos, I had to say my last little goodbyes. Like, damn, you know, it was a sad situation. I was crying, looking at the pizza looking back at me. Like, damn, you know, we had a thing. We did have a thing going on. Till I seen them damn videos and I start looking up this shit myself and ooh. I'm working on that. Once we know better, the hardest thing is to do better and on a consistent basis. Real talk. Yeah, nobody listens anymore. You right. But niggas was eating that yoga mat material though. It's okay. I ate a couple mats myself, but I'm guilty, but not no more, you know? Not no more. I'm a recovering yoga mat eating motherfucker. Yeah, the pizza got a whole bunch of stuff in it. The pizza, the cheese, it's just the cheese. I mean, well, not just the cheese. All of it's processed, but the cheese, whoo. You hate pizza? Look, I wish I was you. I wish I had that problem. Nah, I don't want to make my own pizza because I'm not going to do no vegan cheese and none of that. I ain't even, look, man. If I'm going to cut it, I'm going to cut it. I'm not finding no substitute. That's like getting with the same person that you just broke up with, getting with somebody that's just like them. For what? I'm breaking up with you to avoid a motherfucker like you? Why would I do that? So I ain't gonna go to no vegan cheese. And 9 times out of 10, when you do that, you chasing that same feeling that other person had for you. They not gonna have it. The vegan cheese gonna be fucking disgusting. And then it's gonna even further prove my point why I shouldn't be eating this shit, right? Now, y'all serial killers out here, if y'all want to argue with me about how good vegan cheese is, let's not start. That's just gross. All right. Yeah. I did have a thing with pizza, man. Let's not act like that. Ain't nobody making no bussin' vegan cheese. I just, I'm gonna be a breatharian. I'm just gonna be a breatharian at this point. I can't keep up with all the foods we gonna have to cancel, y'all. All right, so look, I got a question for y'all. What's one food that you're having a struggle with right now? Look, we all struggle at times, and look, man, we gotta admit to each other. Look, we're human. What food do y'all struggle with cutting off? I tell y'all, mine was pizza. Mine was pizza. What do y'all struggle with? What is y'all hardest thing to cut if y'all having those issues? Burger and fries? Damn. That burger and fries have you looking different, though. Real talk. Look like you swallowed a tire out this motherfucker. Hey, Miss Thomas, I appreciate you. That ain't my screen going up quick. Coffee. Mayo. Ugh. Who the fuck said mayo? Yo, get out my chat. Like, niggas out here just eat mayo? Like, what? Beer. Okay, yeah. You look like you swallow a tire with that joint too. That's when a man be looking pregnant. Skinny legs and big stomachs and stuff. And drinking that beer. I feel you though. I used to drink a lot of beer. But I cut back. For sure. And then I just don't drink anymore. It just got to that point. I ain't gonna say a lot. I used to drink when we go out and stuff. That was a lot for me anyway. Somebody said pork. Damn, you can't quit the oink. What is the least poisonous thing we can survive on? Sincerely. Hey. I can't even say the air at this point because they spraying that shit up. You see the chemtrails, so shit, I don't know. Sugar. Damn, that's deep. Sugar is the most addictive thing right now currently. You said steak? Ooh, steak used to be, ooh, yeah. Steak, yeah. I know. I cut that too. Ice cream. Dang. You said you quit drinking months ago. How many people quit drinking? You know what? And then you know what's crazy about when you quit drinking though? For such a long time, you go back and you try to at least have a beer. I tried to have a beer and I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. And then the way that it made me feel, because when I sip something, I feel it in my face immediately. I ain't like the way it made me feel. So I was like, damn, where was I at mentally when I was drinking this shit like that? You know? What was happening at that point in my life? You said bread. You can't quit. Oh, bread. Yeah. See, everybody eating things that's just going to make them blow up and look funny and shit. Make your body start doing weird shit. Dre, if you ever already, please look into it. Okay. Yeah, I look that up. So you never did drink? Okay, that's good for you. Don't start. Steak and soda. Damn, that's a crazy combination. Hey, you know what's crazy though about this though? People that eat certain things though, you have certain body combinations that happen and shit. Like, ain't that weird though? Let's tell the truth. Cause I done had a couple of those body transformations of eating certain shit. So I know, hand to hand. So I ain't trying to be funny. Yeah, drinking ain't, I'm good on that nowadays. I try to have one, but I don't know. My body just don't want it. My mind don't want it. My whole being don't want it. So I'm in the process of cutting a lot of things because I don't want to get old and not be able to use my body effectively. Like, I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm still trying to clap cheeks when I'm like 80. I'm trying to be proficient at it too. I ain't trying to just be clapping cheeks and be nah. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Be handling my business like Dr. Sabi was. What food should I eat? I never drunk or smoked, by the way. That's good. That's good. That's great. I just try to eat mostly organic. Fresh foods that give you energy and not take energy away from you. I tell y'all this. Stop going to fast. Do a fruit fast or a vegetable fast or something like that, right? No sweets, no nothing, right? And then go after you break that fast after a week, you eat some sugar-filled candy or whatever the favorite thing is that you like to eat, and see how you feel after you eat that. You're gonna feel nasty. Your body's gonna be wanting to reject it. Yeah, please remind people about the water. Yeah, real talk. Like that water, all the chemicals that's in it, and not even just the chloride and chlorine and stuff like that. I'm talking about medicines that people flush. That stuff is mixing. Look that stuff up, y'all. The best thing you can do right now is get filters. Get filters on your shower heads, everything, anything to touch your skin, because your body is one of your biggest organs. And guess what? It absorbs, right? So you're absorbing all these things in, and it calcify your pineal gland too as well. But whatever. You said vegan cheese busting. Let's not stop that. Let's stop. We can't spread that lie. We ain't gonna do that. Nah, to each his own though. You might like it. I mean, I think most people that say that is good is just because you holding on to that wish you could type situation. Like, damn, I wish it tastes like the real cheese, or the quote unquote real cheese. What about seafood? Yeah, so my new diet that I'm on, mine is a limitation. So like, I'm just limiting myself. Like, I give myself a day, like 2 days out of the month now, to like have like really cheap meals like I want to, because you deserve it. You got to keep yourself honest, and that's how you're gonna keep yourself consistent too as well. I can't element water all the way. Yeah, if you had to buy one, yeah, I say I agree with you on that. Yeah, fish is limited now, right? Yeah, I did it. But I seen this series. Like I said, I was watching on the plane. Hold on, shout out to the Professor DREOG from Arlington, Texas. I appreciate you. But I say this. I forgot what I was even saying. Fuck it. You said no roaches of the sea. Yeah, that's another step. That's another step. I gotta cut that out for sure. Anything that doesn't have gills, right? Yeah, it's hard to give it up. What's my thought on kimchi? It's not my thing. Spoiled cabbage, once I know what it is, I just can't. Oh, you're allergic to high mercury? Yeah, see, look, that's another reason, to cut. A set number of fins? Yeah. For sure. I was just keeping it short. You did crib legs? Oh, you gang banging on seafood. You did some crib legs. Hey, motherfucker got some crib legs, y'all. We can find some new shit. Say it got some crib legs. I know what you mean, though. Yeah, it's a big difference between spoiled and fermented, but for me, in my mind, it translates to spoiled. You know what I'm saying? That's it. Tilapia is horrible. And then like, look, don't get the wild. Don't get the farm raised. Y'all gotta look up documentaries on that seafood. Them motherfuckers is looking like the Hunchback of Notre Dame trying to swim away. Them motherfuckers swimming sideways in the water. Them shits done got loose. They was like, they bodies were so crooked, you know what I'm saying? And they were freaking out. They bust that damn cage, and now they out there swimming like this, fucking up all the fish population, bro. They let all the retarded fish out. Now they messing up all the other fish. It's real. You feel me? With their crooked ass backs. That shit ain't even good for you no more, you know? Yeah, right now, look, nigga, like I'm working on being a breatharian. Like this air in my room right now is just at the perfect temperature, you know? I like mine at a cool, like, 78 degrees. Just suck it right on in and get all my nutrients. Pause, you know? Pause, nigga. Just sucking my nutrients, though. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm working on this new breatharian shit, skin glowing, skin popping, I got the precious metals on my skin so I can vibrate higher and everything. We on some new breatharian shit, y'all. But nah, I'm stop playing with y'all. I'm gonna work on it though. It is a dude that's a breatharian though. I want to drop a video on him pretty soon. But look, man, make sure y'all smash that like button. I'm gonna get off here. I really enjoy speaking and talking to you guys. Like I said, don't take none of this on here for facts or none of that stuff. Go out here and do your own research and look up this stuff yourself. Decipher what's your reality. I never want to persuade anybody to believe anything. You do that for yourself, and you leave that for other people that want to manipulate y'all and turn y'all into an army to worship them and all this stuff that they do. We're just on here having a cool time, and I appreciate y'all. But look, like I always say, spread love because there's too much hate in this world. Love you guys. I'll see you on the next live, and I'm out. Live.